Guys, FrostyFeline here and welcome back to another Apex Legends video. Today I am going to be going over the Reddit AMA that happened last week, I think it was. We have some exciting news about things that the team over at Respawn are working on, and I thought I would cover a couple of the questions that were asked and the responses by the devs. I'm not going to go over everything because the AMA lasted 2 hours and I'm not going to sit here go through every single question and the answer. I would advise you guys to check out the AMA for yourself, and you can read the questions that you particularly, maybe you had a similar question that you've been thinking. So I'll link the post below. I would advise you to go through and look through it yourself, but I'm going to be touching on a couple of the questions that personally I was interested in. I will also be going live at around 6 or 7 PM UK time today with the new anniversary collection event, so do please come and check out my stream. If you subscribe with post notifications on, it should tell you when I'm live, and also follow me over at Twitter as I always post when I'm going live. So yeah, please come and check. Even if you just stop by for 5 minutes, it'd be great to see you guys on the stream. So I'm going to be starting with cross progression. This is something I personally am super interested in, as I play on PS4 most of the time, but I have a really quite capable PC and I do sometimes fancy that higher frame rate, especially seeing as the next gen versions aren't out yet. And I know a lot of people are interested in this, because a lot of people do want to switch to PC, or maybe you want to switch from Xbox to PlayStation, or vice versa with the new consoles. I am grateful that Respawn have actually spoke on this, and they said, I wouldn't ever say something is not possible, but it's certainly more challenging to add cross progression to a game that's been out for 2 years. A lot of people have accounts on various platforms, and trying to figure out the best way to pick or merge the account data is a challenge with many pros and cons. We're certainly looking into cross progression, and it's something that I think would be great for the game, but it's still a ways off most likely. So this is probably not the best news, especially as they say it's challenging and it's a ways off. But the fact that they're talking about it and are actively working onto sorting out those challenges is good news. It means that we probably will get it later down the line, but it's not going to be anything soon. I personally think they really do need it, especially with Switch coming out. A lot of people don't want to play on Switch if they're going to have to get all their cosmetics and stats back. So I think it's definitely needed. And Destiny have cross progression in Destiny 2, and I think their system is great. You basically pick your main account and then it just uses the cosmetics from that account. So look into Destiny 2's cross progression if you're interested in that, and let me know if you think that would be a good system. It works super well. It would be nice to merge, but I can see how there are challenges with it, but Destiny 2's system is awesome. I would suggest that, and especially with Fortnite, Warzone, plenty of their competitors do have cross progression, and newer games are coming out with cross progression at launch. So it's definitely important to have in a game like Apex, I think. Next is actually some updates about the clubs feature that was added in Season 7? Yeah, Season 7. I just checked that because I couldn't actually remember it was Season 7. Because I like clubs. It's great to find teammates, if none of your friends play this game, and probably better than queuing randoms, but there are some missing features. And Respawn replied to the question, yep, the features roadmap for clubs is actually pretty long and meaty right now. Lots more to come. It'll take us time to get to where it really deserves to be, but there's a team working on it. So they are actively working on features for clubs, which is awesome. As I said, it's a really important feature. Connects in the community. It's obviously quite a good social feature. So there is a team working on new features for it, so that's great to hear there. Not much to talk about, but just thought it was worth mentioning. Someone also asked about the fact that there weren't actually many shifts in the meta in Season 8. The top legends are still the top legends, top guns still the top guns, and in terms of legend balancing, it wasn't as drastic as maybe past seasons. And Respawn had this to say: certain bigger changes didn't make the cut in time. I think we make up with some spiciness in the mid-season update and the start of Season 9. Again, that's great to hear. I'm not too bothered that the meta didn't change a lot in Season 8, because we had a new weapon, we had the new Legend Fuse, who I personally think has made an impact, and he's probably the most balanced Legend release. Obviously Horizon was very strong at release, and the past Legends like Rampart and Loba were not played really at all, when they released and still aren't played very often. So I think they're definitely getting better with balancing the legends at the release, and Fuse is definitely further evidence with that, following on from Horizon. But we are going to be getting some buffs and nerfs and changes in the Season 8 mid-season update and Season 9. So again, that's great to hear. I am actually going to be talking about one change that they are looking into, which is a buff to Loba's Tactical. Someone basically said, why are you shy with buffing Loba's Tactical? Start buffing her ult, basically, which as a Loba main I cannot help but agree with. She's my favourite legend. I love playing Loba, but her Tactical does need some love from Respawn. And we had some really good news regarding this. This is quite a lengthy response. They said, hi, there's 2 separate issues, only one of which I can really speak to. So issue 1 is her Tactical still has a bunch of areas where it fails. That's a bug. Whenever we find those, we try to fix them for you as soon as possible. That's all I can say for that one. I've definitely noticed this. So there's windows where your Tactical can't go through, which isn't as much as a problem anymore, but in Season 8, my Tactical seems to fail more than it works. I will throw it, and she either does that finger wag, and it's just like, no, or just nothing happens whatsoever. And it's really frustrating. It has got me killed. So, but I understand that's not something it's not going to be something that's universally corrected. It's going to be situation by situation. It definitely needs some fixing, but you can kind of see why it's definitely a harder bug to fix. But definitely that needs fixing. But as I said, they are trying to fix them as soon as possible. As for actually buff, they said, the other issue I can speak to, why are we so conservative balancing her Tactical? There's a good reason. Combat readability, that is to say having a good idea where the enemy could have gone to in this case, is super important for making Apex feel as good as it does. Teleports are scary in this context. If you ever fail to see or hear the throw, you might suddenly have a Loba behind you didn't expect, and that feels awful. So both the amount of telegraphing, so a very visible silver arc in the air and very audible sounds, and the amount of downtime around usage, so before and after the throw, help with this. They then went on to say, one thing we are trying is just making it feel better while not adding too much power. We're currently playtesting a version that doesn't slow you down at all while the bracelet is in the air, and that doesn't slow you down when you arrive at your target location. Bit scary, but been testing well so far, so while there isn't an ETA, we hope to ship something for Loba's Tactical soonish. Again, great news. I am super happy to hear they are finally accepting that her Tactical needs some work. I can understand what they're saying. I can see if Loba was buffed too far, she could go from being not one of the bottom C tier legends to possibly one of the best. There are legends now that have movement abilities far superior to Loba's, and she definitely needs a buff for her Tactical. I'm not asking for her to become an S tier legend, just more viable. And it sounds like they're doing that. So they said they are going to, doesn't slow you down while it's actually in the air. So when she has her hand out waiting for it to travel, she's very slow at the moment, and they are removing that. Well, they're playtesting the removal of that, and she's not slowed when she arrives at the target location. So there isn't an estimated time of arrival, but they're hoping to release something soon. That's really great to hear. I hope they go ahead with that buff. That sounds fine to me. Obviously we'd have to play with it, but yeah, that sounds like a really good buff. I'd be over the moon if her Tactical was buffed. So that's some really great news for my fellow Loba players. There's not many of us, but it looks like she will be getting a buff relatively soon. A buff that will be meaningful instead of these hundreds of ultimate buffs that she doesn't really need. So to quickly gloss over like a couple of more regarding servers, they said they are actively working on improving the netcode, etc. They went into the more detailed specifics of like tick rate, etc. But if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, you can read that in the post, which I will link below, as I've mentioned earlier. And they said they are looking into buffing Revenant as well, but he's hard to buff because they want to do something not related to his ult or his Tactical. Because his ult and his Tactical are actually very balanced, very powerful, but they're looking in kind of his passive or another way to buff him. So that will be coming at some point for my Revenant players. And there's a couple more, as I said, you can go and read it yourself. But hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you agree with the things I've said, maybe some legends you want to see buffed or nerfed, etc. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.